Trash Eater is finally here, the hit new shonen anime series that a lot of people have been eagerly anticipating, having so much angsty revenge plotting in it, it's hard to sift through. Yes, I joke, it's actually called Gachiakuta. I just like calling it Trash Eater because, for those who don't know, the creator of the series is actually a massive fan of Soul Eater, and they even went on to assist the creator on it with Fire Force, which is a really cool thing, and yes, that seems very apparent. If you look at anything Gachiakuta, the original source material, or this new anime, it oozes that style, and me personally, love it. I absolutely love it. When I first heard that Gachiakuta was getting an anime adaptation, I checked out the manga a little bit. Truth be told, I put it down pretty quickly just because it felt a little bit too angsty revenge plot, like I said earlier, and I'm feeling that again with the anime adaptation, but I'm hoping to stick with it. They have 24 episodes already kind of set for this series, and I'm hoping it'll kind of develop in something cool. So far, I do really like the world building. I think that's really the thing that's grabbing me the most. I like the mechanics, I like the world building, all that kind of stuff. I just hope I start to like Rudo a little bit more. I mean, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, but we'll see. But this is my thoughts on the first 2 episodes, so let's just jump right into it. The first thing first, yes, what is Gachiakuta about? I guess to set the setting first, we pretty much have this setting where you have pretty much all these people living in high class. Everybody's comfortable. It's nice. It's clean, especially clean. Everything that people have deemed to be trash, no matter how minor it is, they immediately discard it. They throw it down this trash heap and they at some point gets taken off to be dumped. And then we kind of zoom out a little bit. We find out that there's like this other side beyond this wall, which apparently this wall or this district was created for criminals. Anybody that was seen as bad, they get sent off past this wall. And then over time, yes, those people will have children, and it's pretty much became its own other side. They call it the tribesfolk. Pretty much everybody that's discarded by society, they live beyond this point. There is a sense that if you do well, eventually you could be part of that society, but everybody beyond that wall is sort of seen as trash. Also, further beyond this society, there is also this drop-off point, this execution location, where essentially anybody that is deemed to be a criminal or do some grave offense, they are dropped off the side of this cliff. And that will lead you to where pretty much all the trash is going. This lower area, the ground level basically, where everything that's trash or criminals of like high caliber is sent. Well, we zero in on Rudo, and Rudo is a boy that likes to look for trash that's being discarded by this high society that he deems can be fixed. So he'll infiltrate the garbage facilities, grab items that are being discarded, and take them back home to beyond that wall and try to repair them. We find out from his history that at some point his father was a criminal who did some sort of mass murder, and so he was pretty much abandoned as a child. Thankfully, he was brought in by a guy named Recto, and Recto pretty much instilled upon him sort of this desire to take care of the objects around you. He tells him this old saying of cherishing what you have around you, and if you take care of an item well enough, eventually a soul will inhabit it. So Rudo's always kind of taking care of all the things around him, and everything that people feel disposable, he finds some sort of value in it. And well, one day he finds a bunny, wants to fix it up so he can give it to this childhood friend who he has a crush on. He eventually does give it to her, and she kind of gives this worry that one day he might be sent off to being dropped into the pit because, again, he's sneaking into the other area, infiltrating the trash jumps and stealing stuff, which, yes, you're not allowed to be doing that stuff. Well, excited that he was finally able to give his crush the bunny, he runs home to Redgo to tell him about it and brag it to him, and he comes to find, yeah, the guy's been killed. An assassin is there, he's killing him, and Rudo tries to stop him, fails, and then in Redgo's dying breath, he says, "Run, change this terrible world." At which point, conveniently enough, the apostles of the area, which are basically like the police, show up, and they immediately blame Rudo for killing Redgo. He's taken off to the pit, where he's then strung up. He tries to claim that he didn't do anything. Nobody wants to listen to him, at which point he starts getting furious by the fact that everybody just kind of goes along with the flow. He sees everybody sitting there calling him trash as basically trash, before he spots his childhood friend, Chiwa, who basically says, "It was true all along. You're just like your father, a criminal," and turns her back on him, and then he plummets down to the pit. But he doesn't die. Shocking, right? The main character doesn't die. He wakes up after blacking out, and he's in the middle of just nothing but trash. Can barely breathe. He's coughing up and wanting to vomit. And eventually, suddenly, out of nowhere, a bunch of trash CGI monsters show up, and all the CGI trash monsters start attacking him. And randomly, as he's about to die, he just gets this inspiration. No, I have to find that killer and get revenge. And then suddenly he picks up a pipe and starts one-shotting all the CGI monster trash things. And eventually some dude shows up and with an umbrella and starts just tearing up all the trash monsters. Before Rudo's like, hey, I like that power. I need that power. Show me how to do that power. Before the guy pretty much chains him up and drags him along with him back to civilization. Well, a group of people. Basically, the guy that saves him down below, his name is Engine. And this guy is what's known as a cleaner. And he apparently spotted in Rudo some sort of innate ability that he has, which is called a giver. Essentially, Rudo's belief that was kind of bestowed upon him of sort of treasuring all objects is sort of giving them the ability to bestow souls within things, and then he's able to control them or use them. The idea here is that you treat things with care, a soul will inhabit it, and then you want to believe that it will come to your aid. And thus he's able to essentially breathe life into chains and turn tires into spiky tire blades that he can then use. Like all this stuff that he's able to actually function. And Engine wanted to kind of see if he was possibly able to do that, and sure enough, he passed the test, and that he's going to show him everything he needs to know about his powers and what's going on down here at the ground level. He just has to join the cleaners, which Rudo doesn't want to do. And that's the gist of the show so far. That is the gist of Gachiakuta in the first 2 episodes. It's a nice introduction to what they call the sphere, which is civilization that's up here that is dumping all their trash down below. Rudo doesn't like the idea that people see things as trash. But now he's stuck down here with the trash, and it's just full of people who absolutely hate those that are above them. And Rudo wants to badly get back up there so that he can get his revenge for whoever killed his foster father, basically. So my thoughts on the show so far. Visually, I love it. I mean, putting aside the CGI trash monsters, they're okay. They're not horrible looking. There is a little bit of a jarring aspect there. I think the thing that bugs me the most is not really the style of them, of the CGI that's kind of conflicting with the more like thicker line style of the 2D characters. It's more of a fact that I don't like how they feel so small. They didn't really capture the scale is really what it is. And I think that's more of a directing choice, not really an artistic choice. The directing, they didn't really nail that scale of these massive behemoth things that are attacking him. But that aside, I really do love the style of the show. I love the character designs. Yeah, it's very much so of the style of Okubo with Fire Force and Soul Eater. Obviously an inspiration there. I think Rudo's design is just phenomenal. Like, I typically don't like main character designs. I like the whole floofy jacket thing. I think that's really a lot of it. And again, that's definitely something that is kind of carried over from something like Fire Force, which they assisted in. The poofy jackets, you know, big hands, that kind of stuff. It's a really good style, and I really do love it. The world design itself is fantastic. Everything around it really does look good visually. The music's decent. I mean, some of the tracks I don't really care much for, but it's at least they're doing a really good job of kicking in the music at the right times. I wasn't a big fan of the choice of music when he's dropped in the pit. I felt that was a bit jarring, but I think overall I do like the music choice, and I like the vocals and whatnot kind of being mixed in there as well. But getting into the story, like I said before, I like the world building. I think this has got a great setup. It gives me a lot of... It's not so much like Fire Force and Soul Eater. I think you can get a little bit of a sense of Soul Eater, but I feel more Battle Angel. This show, kind of, the story really does remind me of Battle Angel. With Battle Angel, the concept there is, it's more of a reverse aspect here because we're starting from up onto the platform, which technically if you go further into Battle Angel, it sort of does get in that idea of falling from it. But the start of the Battle Angel OVA, yes, technically gives a sense of like people down below and trash is being dumped upon them, and everybody wants to get up to the sphere. With this one, he starts up there, he gets kicked out, and he wants to get back up there, but there's a sense of, dude, you can't get back up there. There's no way to get up there. You sphereites drop all of your junk on us. That's just life. There's no way to get up there. I'm certain they'll probably eventually run into maybe a pipe that you can go up that will have this cutting blade that comes down it in succession. If that happens, I'll know this is inspired by Battle Angel. But it's already given a sense of like Battle Angel, the idea of the high society up there dropping their trash and the people down below that have to scrounge whatever they have, and their soil and air is all being filled with toxics. That stuff I like. I like the world building, the concept here, even though it is kind of generic in some ways, the society itself, the one side of the wall versus the other side of the wall, the discrimination, all that kind of stuff. The society drunk on their own lives while everybody else is scrounging. Now, the not really a problem, but not really grabbing me either, is the story of Rudo. I like the setup of his history, the idea that he has a father, which probably was wrongfully accused, but apparently his father did some sort of mass murder, and that has sort of made those that are trying to get back into the good graces of society, it making them struggle a little bit. One of the kids made a comment about the fact that we're trying to do good so that way, that side of the wall accepts us and then we can go into that society. But your father set us back. Because he went and did that killing spree, it made us look bad. And so, you're trash. You're the son of trash, basically. But he lost his father. His father gets kicked off of the pit. Probably going to end up running into him eventually. Probably. At some point, Ruto's probably going to run into his father again. No doubt. But now that his father's gone, he gets adopted. And I like the idea that what was instilled upon him after he was adopted is this idea of always treasuring items. Always take care of items. Eventually, a soul will possess it. I like that concept, the idea that he has had that instilled upon him to always care for things. A kid that has nothing is the son of somebody who is seen as a criminal. He's obviously going to want to look for partnership elsewhere because nobody wants to accept him. People hate him. Everybody sees him as the stain from some nasty individual. And so he's going to look for joy somewhere else and comfort somewhere else, and it's in objects. He sees all objects as being worthy of actually existing. Whereas, again, in stark contrast to that, those on the other side of the wall, oh, this bunny doll they have, one of the stitches broke and a little bit of cotton is coming out. Well, better throw it out because if we try to fix it, it'll look worse. Throw it out. He's like, no, that deserves to be enjoyed. This little lantern, it's not that bad. I can just tweak this and it'll work. Everything deserves to have an existence. Take care of things. And so he hates that. And I like how that sort of does seem to be playing into his power and the idea that it seems like him taking care of things, the objects want to take care of him. Now, how that manifests later on, that's the odd part. That's where it kind of starts to lose me. And the idea that suddenly he's being attacked by monsters and he sees a pipe and suddenly the pipe makes him super powerful. He grabs a random siding of a shed and he's able to slice a big monster in half. Where is this random super OP powers come from and why is he so accepting of it? I'm guessing he had this in him before. The assumption is that a lot of it has to do with the gloves or possibly his hands themselves, because there's a lot of emphasis in the idea that if he takes care of his gloves, eventually a soul will come into them. But that kind of gets further into later on when some dudes are attacking him and saying he's a spherite and they want to torture him. We hate the people above that are, bringing toxins into our land. The guy starts shoving rotten food down Ruto's mouth and he's like, no, this is good stuff. It shouldn't be discarded. It's not trash. And he starts consuming it and eating it and he's all happy about it. Which, again, for somebody in his position, it's probably something he normally does. He probably normally eats trash. But it goes further than that in the idea that he's picking up chains and they're getting infested with souls, apparently. And he's picking up tires and they're getting infested with souls. So apparently everything he touches gets a soul placed into it and he's able to use it. Again, Engine said that he was going to explain it. So I'm assuming we're going to get an explanation for all that stuff. But damn, we went along with that whole thing. But I guess it was a whole aspect there where it's the whole shonen going berserk thing where suddenly they just do a bunch of crazy stuff and they don't know what they're doing until somebody snaps them out of it and they go, oh, what did I just do? It's got the shonen stuff in it. It definitely got the shonen action battler stuff in it, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't really feel bad for him beating the crap out of the people, that's for sure. But that sort of gets in probably my biggest complaint that I would probably have. Everything else I'm fine with. Everything else story-wise, I'm fine with. I'm fine with Ruto's character. I'm fine with the power systems and everything. The only thing that I'm kind of I don't care much for, and this is something that's kind of just a personal thing, is I just don't care for the overly everybody's mean and our main character is so mistreated and how horrible the world is. Undo everything that's horrible in the world. It's tiresome. It gets tiresome. So you start off with him being mistreated by a bunch of bully kids. And then society just pins a murder on him without even blinking. Literally, the guy's still alive sitting there, and everybody's like, hey, you're come with us. And it's dude, he's still alive. They drag him off. He's just hung up, which is, yes, technically witch trial type of stuff there where nobody wants to listen. It's a public execution. Everybody just goes along with it. That's normal, I guess. But then, yeah, you have the friend who just completely turns her back on him, and he's super angry. And then he drops down, and then hopefully he found somebody nice down there. But no, these guys want to sell him off, and they're acting like they like him, but they actually hate him. It's cheesy. It gets cheesy after a while. So I don't know. Hopefully, eventually, whenever he gets to maybe when he's hanging out with the cleaners, I'm guessing he's going to join the cleaners, or at least be drugged into the cleaners, even though he doesn't want to be a part of it. Hopefully we'll have characters there that aren't like derpy face, we're all evil type characters, and we can kind of chill out a little bit. But it gets too much for me. That's the stuff that kind of gets a bit too much for me. Again, that's personal. I'm not saying that's a fault of the show. There's a lot of people that are going to love this stuff. People eat this stuff up. Revenge plots are very, very successful in storytelling. I don't care for much anymore. But anyways, it's doing good so far. Again, we have like 24 episodes just with this season alone, so I'm hoping that this will kind of pick up into some good stuff going forward. I'm looking forward to it. Again, even if only for the world building and the style alone that I absolutely love. But that's my thoughts on Trash Eater or Gachiakuta. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support the channel more, become a member of the channel. But until next time, y'all take care.